Welcome back, Wolfpack. Dire Wolf here. Today, we're going to be talking about how social justice ideology is a non-theistic religion. Many people associate religion with the belief in a god, but there are many non-theistic religions as well. Non-theistic religions share many of the same characteristics as theistic religions, only with the absence of a deity. A few examples of non-theistic religions include Buddhism and Scientology. In Buddhism, there is no god who is creator, judge, or deity in charge. Buddhism does teach that spirits, ghosts, and gods exist, but Buddha, who was a heretic of Hinduism, taught his people to ignore the gods. Buddhism is essentially a religion of the mind, which advocates awareness of the present, inner purity, ethical conduct, and freedom from problems of change, impermanence, and suffering, and their reliance upon one's own experience and discernment, not that of a god. Buddhism, however, is benign, but an example of an oppressive and harmful non-theistic religion would be Scientology, and, as I will argue, social justice ideology. There are 6 major characteristics that make up a non-theistic religion, and as I go through each one of them with you, I'm going to compare them to social justice ideology to show you definitively that social justice ideology is in fact a non-theistic religion. Number 1. Non-theistic religions have a easily defined and recognizable set of beliefs. That means that they have labels that the average person can understand as describing a set of beliefs specific to that religion. The religion must be more than just a set of beliefs held by a cult, which is defined as a small group or a single individual. The beliefs must belong to a large, organized community that are united on that set of beliefs. This characteristic makes a distinction between cults and religions based on their relative size and public awareness. Now, social justice ideology may not be coherent. It may be contradictory, like other religions are, but they do have a united set of beliefs. Social justice, as it is taught in university and as it is advocated for publicly, believes in critical theory, the idea that all existing societal structures are inherently wrong and ought to be changed, and intersectionality, the worldview that divides society into groups of oppressors and the oppressed, treating all differences in outcomes between those groups as injustice. The average person can identify that they believe in equality of outcomes between identity groups, diversity as an inherent moral good, and global citizenship over nationalism. Of course, you could say that social justice ideology includes much more than just these core principles. However, the fact is that the average person on the outside can tell these are the general principles that quote-unquote social justice warriors represent. Number 2, non-theistic religions often require uncritical faith in the tenets of the belief system. The belief system teaches that there are certain principles that are true, are moral goods, and should not be questioned. As an example, social justice warriors are infuriated and confused when people question why do women need to be paid the same as men on average, or why does a TV show need one of each racial group represented in the cast. They are taught that diversity and equal outcomes for different identity groups are inherently a moral good and should not be questioned. So questioning those things, of course, infuriates them. Number 3, characteristic 2 directly leads into characteristic 3. A non-theistic religion is exclusive. Failure to adhere to the belief system excludes you from the community, and adherence to the dogma results in inclusion. Using the same example from before, should you ever find yourself daring to question why diversity for the sake of diversity is an inherent moral good, then you will find yourself being called a Nazi, a misogynist, or Islamophobe. True believers of the social justice religion will exclude you and see you as their enemy should you challenge the core beliefs of their religion. They will even exclude someone who agrees with 90% of what they believe if they don't blindly believe all of the tenets of their religion. This often leads to the very comical and self-destructive circular firing squad of purity testing that is indicative of social justice ideology. Number 4. The beliefs of a non-theistic religion must be taught and acted on uncritically as the one truth. It differs from a theistic religion in that the source is not a deity, but is human. A religion exists and survives on its ability to replicate itself, to convert others. Some religions have achieved this through one-sided education and/or threats of violence to ensure conformity. Through media and targeted harassment, it is made clear that people will be punished if they do not bend the knee to social justice dogma. They will attempt to get you fired, deplatform you, silence you, and even attack you for countering their narrative. These terroristic tactics use fear and shame to influence a community, changing how people act and speak. If the religion is successful in modifying the language and behavior of a community, it serves as a social conditioning to bolster their indoctrination of others. It also serves as the utility of silencing voices that would contradict their indoctrination. Examples of these tactics in action, the echo chambers they create, and the religious zealotry they produce are seen through our country in university safe spaces and across all the major social media platforms. Jonathan Haidt, co-author of the article The Coddling of the American Mind, said this about safe spaces in universities. We have sacred values other than truth. We have taboos that constrain our thinking. We have almost no moral political diversity, and we have created a hostile climate for people who don't share those sacred values. Sounds like a religion to me. Number 5. One of the largest distinctions between a non-theistic religion and a political or economic philosophy is that, in addition to the previous criteria, the system of beliefs are not only a prescription for how one should behave and view the world, but it also provides the believer a purpose for life. The Abrahamic religions teach that your purpose in life is to serve their singular God. For Buddhism, your purpose is to seek enlightenment. The purpose of Scientology is to accumulate power and money while manipulating and threatening people to trap them into, the purpose of Scientology is to ascend and become a god. Secular humanism charges one with the purpose of bettering oneself in the pursuit of one's own happiness. In all these cases, these religions not only tell you how to live, but also gave the believer a purpose to live. The purpose for living that social justice ideology preaches is for its believers to always be fighting to right the perceived wrongs in society and around the world. Their purpose for life, very much like Thanos, is that they struggle against oppression to create equality. Everything in balance, just like it should be. The problem with your life purpose being to fight against oppression is, what do you do when there is no oppression? Well, you could try to oppose oppression around the world, but that would require effort, resources, and know-how. So instead, you have to create new oppressions to struggle against. That is how our public discourse has devolved into the absurdity of claiming that punctuality, math, science, time, and the OK sign, milk, and even the phrase all lives matter and it is okay to be white have become oppressions. The constant search for societal injustices to correct bafflingly ignores the actual injustice of their own creation, of limiting people's ability to speak, and the violence and destruction of property they conduct. At the same time, their solutions to injustice is often the same injustice they claim to oppose. They fight racism with racism, sexism with sexism, and advocate policies of segregation and oppose interracial relationships. The problem having a religion and a life's purpose of fighting inequality and oppression is that your struggle is not based on principles, it's based on fighting for the sake of fighting. They need something, some evil, faceless white supremacy or patriarchy to fight against, or they will lose their purpose for life. These vague evils are analogous to the moral foils used by other religions like the devil, the chaos, or the yin, and act as a contrast to the morals of the religion. Number 6, the final criteria, which should be a given, is that a non-theistic religion is not a satirical parody religion made to mock other religions. And though social justice often does seem like a parody of itself, to the true believers it is not a joke, nor is it a parody. Based on these criteria, which accurately describe all non-theistic religions, it is clear that social justice ideology, which is a system of beliefs that is taught in university, that is based on faith regardless of facts, that describes describes a worldview and a purpose for one's life that is in an exclusive community that survives through uncritical indoctrination is in fact a non-theistic religion. And it is the true believers of this religion that are waging their own little crusade, their own little holy war against our country, her people, and our culture. Direwolf out. Hey Wolfpack, if you liked our video, hit that like button and share it with your friends. And if you really liked the video, share it with your enemies as well. And if this is your first time and you want to see more content from us, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to receive notifications, hit that bell button. It won't do anything, but it'll make you feel better about yourself. I would also like to thank everyone who donates to our channel monetarily through zerostrings.org or through Streamlabs and Super Chats. Thank you very much for your support.